This is the most profound statement from Peter Obi yet. The most profound, the most serious. We must gang up to unseat Tinubu in 2027. Why is it most profound? We must gang up not just to unseat Tinubu, but to take back Nigeria from a group of people that have captured it. So it goes beyond unseating Tinubu. We must unseat Tinubu, unseat Akpabio, unseat Tajuddin Abbas, unseat all the people that are currently in the National Assembly, unseat the state governors, including the ones that are ganging up and decamping into the APC to support Tinubu. We must unseat all of them. Unseat all the business people, unseat everybody that has ganged up against Nigeria to capture it. Because when we say state capture, many people don't understand. This is the most profound statement yet. But it worries me. It gives me cause for concern. When Peter Obi says we must gang up against Tinubu, who are the we? Who are the we? Today we were at the National Assembly to submit our own copy of the Electoral Amendment Bill, the proposed one, to the Senate President and the Speaker of the House of Representatives. And then something struck me. In that place, something struck me that will make it very, very difficult for us to gang up to unseat Tinubu. Something happened. Remember I said very difficult, but not impossible. It dawned on me that there are two categories of people in that National Assembly, and in Nigeria by extension. There's a category of people that know nothing but enjoyment. All they know in their life is how to enjoy, how to chop. A group of people like that. And they are the leaders and people connected or closely connected to the leaders. People like the Akpabio, people like them Tajuddin Abbas. You go to their offices, you see people who work for them, people who are close to them, people who come around them. These people, they know nothing but enjoyment. The only thing they know is how to enjoy. Then there is another group of people, a group of people who are suffering. You see them, it is obvious that they are suffering. But they are hanging around this first set of people, hoping to get crumbs from this first set of people. Meanwhile, this first set of people are the same people who are responsible for making Nigeria the way it is. So they are. But this second group of people, they don't mind, they don't care. All they are doing is hanging around, hoping that they will get crumbs from the table of this first set of people. Now here is the problem. This first set of people, the greedy ones, they are not looking to share with anybody. In fact, the only time any crumb will fall from their table is when they want to weaponize poverty, when they want to dangle that crumbs and use it to make the rest of the people to do what they want. That's the only time any crumbs will fall from the table of this first set of greedy Nigerians. Now, these two sets of people are the majority of the people that we have in the country. So when Peter Obi comes to say we must gang up, it becomes very important to ask the question, who are the we? Who are the we? Mind you, it is not possible for us to have the opportunity to unseat Tinubu if there is no free and fair election. If you think there is a way for that to happen, let me know. There is no way we can gang up to unseat Tinubu in 2027 to take back Nigeria from Tinubu and his gang. There is no way we'll do that without free and fair elections. So when Peter Obi comes out to say we must gang up to unseat Tinubu, the first thing that comes to my mind is we must gang up for electoral reforms. We must gang up to make sure that we have an electoral amendment. That is the starting point. But here is the problem. Who are the we? Who are the we? Where are the we? Because the most important thing right now that will pave the way for us to have the opportunity to unseat Tinubu in 2027, the most important thing, nobody is talking about it. Who are the we? Is it the traditional rulers or the traditional leaders? Which traditional leaders have you heard talking about electoral reforms? If you have, please let me know. Whether it is first-class traditional ruler, second-class or third-class or any class, which traditional ruler? And these traditional rulers, mind you, they have access to Tinubu, they have access to Akpabio, they have access to Mahmoud and INEC. But how many of them have you heard talking about electoral reform? From the Oni of Ife, that is always on pilgrimage to wherever Tinubu is, to the Sultan of Sokoto, to the Emir of Kano. Well, the Emir of Kano, I can excuse him because that man's eyes have seen shege from speaking truth to power. But then he can still speak a little. But if he doesn't, I can excuse him. The Oba of Lagos, the Oba of Benin, Alake of Oyo, the Awujale of Egba, whatever they are called. Which traditional ruler have you heard that have had access to Tinubu that have called for electoral reforms? Who are the we? We must identify it so we don't build castles in the air, so we can plan properly for the task that is ahead of us. Who are the we? I'm talking of traditional rulers. What about religious leaders? As you have first class, second class, and third class traditional rulers, so you have religious leaders. How many of them have you heard talking about electoral reform? I was thinking that the electoral reform is something that everybody wants, that it is only riggers that will not want it. I was thinking that it is only maybe people like Akpabio, maybe people like Tajuddin Abbas, maybe people like Tinubu that may not want Electoral Amendment Act. That was what I was thinking. I was thinking that the rest of us Nigerians will gang up, will gather and rally behind electoral reform. I was thinking that. But which of the religious leaders do you know that have come out to speak, to push for electoral reforms? Who are the we that we gang up? Who are the we? Is it Bishop Oyedepo? Is it Pastor Adeboye? Pastor Kumuyi? Dr. Dukoya Abi Olukoya? MFM? Which one? Who? Who are the we? Reverend Oyaki Lome? Mike Okonkwo? Paul Adefarasin? Who are the we? All the noise that we made about Paul Adefarasin in his Range Rover and whether he was holding a gun or he was not holding a gun, and then he comes out to give a speech, and then we now go back and be all of those are energies that could have been channeled to calling for electoral reforms. But no, which of the religious leaders? Now, it is not only even Christian religious leaders, even Islamic religious leaders, Muslims. Which of them? All the imams. Which of them do you know? In fact, including traditional religious leaders, all the shrine, the babalawus, which of them have you heard talking and pushing for electoral reforms? We need to know where our problems are coming from. We need to understand what the problem is and where it is coming from, to know who we are, who are the we, who are those in support and who are those against, who are the enemies that we are battling. Because the friend of my enemy is still my enemy. It's still my enemy. Are we not supposed to have a situation whereby The Electoral Amendment Act is a unifying call that religious leaders, traditional leaders are rallying around, that political leaders in the opposition are rallying around. I would have even thought that opposition political leaders would have made it a priority to be pushing and calling for electoral reforms. But rather, they choose to decamp, to go and join the people that we should be ganging up to unseat. So we hear now that even Doye Diri, I don't know how true that is also now thinking of dumping PDP to decamp into the APC. We have heard of Umoeno, of Akwa Ibom. We have heard of the one of Delta State. Delta State. River State, even Wike does not know where it stands. But it's most likely, from the visit of Fubara to Tinubu, most likely that they are going to be decamping also into the APC. Is it the same people that we are looking up to gang up to unseat Tinubu? The opposition political leaders, the senators, the lawmakers, the House of Reps members that are supposed to be ganging up. They're not even talking about it. Who are they? I have not heard Ireti Kingebe, aside from the audience, quote and unquote, that she gave to Randy Peters. I have not heard that push for electoral reforms. Who are the we that want to gang up? Where you have traditional rulers, traditional leaders, you have religious leaders, you have even political leaders that are supposed to be ganging up. They are not ganging up. They are quiet, as if electoral reforms is a cancer. We are even talking about religious leaders, traditional leaders, political leaders. Those ones, I can't even still understand them. What about our entertainment leaders? Our so-called celebrities? Why are they not speaking up to push for electoral reforms? When it comes to the issue of, Adefarasin, you will now see their voice. The other day, Davido was in Atlanta, far away Atlanta. And then he was talking about, Nigeria is in a bad shape. And people lambasted him. I was part of the people who defended him and said, is what he's saying not true? Now, the same Davido, fast forward a few years later, has the opportunity to speak with the president. Guess what? Did he mention electoral reforms? These are celebrities. Which of them are talking openly about electoral reforms? We need to know, who are the we? Your comedians, your, what is it called? Your music artists, your movie artists or actors and actresses. Who are the we? The entertainers, so-called celebrities. How many of them are talking about electoral reforms? How many of them are throwing their weight behind electoral reforms? I honestly, I feel very, very sorry for people like Randy Peters. Because the young man is just running around everywhere using his house rent. Using his house rent to pursue electoral reforms. Submit petition here, submit petition there. It's not an easy task. I know, because I've tried it. And rather than have people support him, we're not seeing it. I would have even expected that by now you will have ordinary Ahmed Issa, you will have very dark man, you will have all the major people pushing for it vigorously. I would have expected that, but is that what we are seeing? Where are the celebrities? Why are they hush-hush about electoral reforms? As if electoral reforms is a cancer. Who are the we? We need to know. So that with all the so-called billionaire businessmen, them Dangote, them Otedola, them Tony Elumelu, Obatudeko, which one again? Remind me. Which of them is pushing for electoral reforms? How many times have you heard Dangote talk and he's talking about electoral reforms? We need to know, who are the we, so that we can separate correctly the chaff from the wheat. Who are the we? Who are the we? The only time many of these people will talk about electoral reform is if it is trending. It's when they see that, oh, it will give them views. Then they will talk about it. Who are the we? We need to gang up to unseat Tinubu. Very, very profound statements coming from Peter Obi. But we need to identify who are the we. Because believe it or not, they are already ganging up to support Tinubu. Instead of giving us good governance, they are busy plotting how to continue to make sure that Nigeria remains state captured. So we must take action. Project Eagle to the rescue. Project Eagle to the rescue. We will continue to say it. We will not get tired of talking it. We'll keep saying it. We won't stop talking it until we achieve it. Project Eagle. It may sound like impossible. It may sound like an uphill task. And I know it is. It may sound like people are not listening. I know they are. Some people will even come and tell you that it's a stupid idea. It's a stupid project. Oh, even with your Project Eagle, Tinubu will still win. Look, we will give it our try. We will give it our push. Whether it is stupido, whether it is not stupido, we will activate it and we will push it to the best of our ability. And if come 2027, the ugly happens, I will know that I put in my all. I will know, and I will be proud to be able to tell my children, I tried. Because that's all we owe ourselves, to try. To try. Don't just sit down and say, oh, Tinubu is a master rigger. Oh, they have rigged the 2027 election. Come on. That is statement from lazy people. Yes, politicians, lazy politicians can say it and use it as an excuse to decamp, to go and join the same Tinubu. Fayose has gone to visit. Segun Showunmi has gone to visit. And immediately they go to visit, they come back, they are singing a different tune. Segun Showunmi. Who are the we? We must give it a try. We cannot give in to state capture. We cannot. Even if it is the minority of us, we will give it our all. Many of you don't realize what is going on. What is going on now is what went on during the days of our forefathers. That was what went on. Now we go back, we read history, we hear that, oh, our forefathers sold our other forefathers into slavery. And then when we hear what they sold them for, we begin to wonder, how can a person sell another human being, his own brother and sister, for ogogoro, for mirror, for rapper? You begin to wonder why. But then it dawned on me. I realized why. It is what? Luxury, enjoyment. That was what was sold to our forefathers. It is only those who were considered luxurious, people who were living luxurious life, that had access to mirror, that had access to wrapper, that had access to powder, that had access to gogoro gin. It was only the rich. So some people consider themselves privileged and living the life, enjoying when they get or are in possession of those things that I just mentioned. So they don't care to sell their brothers and sisters because of those things. Is that not what is happening now with the likes of Tinubu, Akpabio and co? With the likes of our traditional rulers, with the likes of our religious leaders, with the likes of our political leaders, our business leaders, our entertainment leaders, our media leaders, our education leaders? Is that not what is happening? Everybody is just pursuing. I said, in that National Assembly today, it dawned on me why it will be an uphill task for us to take back this country. Why it will be difficult for us to gang up. There is a group of people, and they are the leaders, All they know is enjoyment. They are not thinking. They are not thinking about anything. All they know is enjoyment. And you know, can you think enjoyment without being drenched, without being drowned in consumption? It is only people who are lost to consumption that think enjoyment. People who are productive, who are given to production, they don't think enjoyment. And that is why you will see somebody like Bill Gates. He doesn't drive Lamborghini. He doesn't, because he's thinking production. He's thinking how he continue to serve his people to make sure that we in Africa remain slaves to his own people, to the whites, to the imperialists. That's what he's thinking. So he's not thinking enjoyment. But we, our leaders right now, they are no different from the leaders, our forefathers who sold their own brothers and sisters into slavery. They are no different. Coincidentally, there was a Tinubu then, Madam Tinubu, who was interested in slavery. Now today we have another Tinubu that is serving Nigeria on a platter of gold to the IMF and the World Bank. And our so-called leaders, traditional leaders, religious leaders, business leaders, entertainment leaders, they are all Trojan horses. Trojan horses. Inside them you have enemies within them that are just used to make sure we continue to be enslaved. So when serious things like electoral amendment, electoral reform comes up, they are nowhere to be found. They'll come and tell you Tinubu is working. Where is Tinubu working? Today, my wife got to the market, came back and was telling me that, now wow, she could not get 1,000 naira pepper to buy. I don't know, maybe in your own place it might be different. You have I said, not even one piece of pepper. You know 1,000 naira pepper. Maybe in your place you can. Let me know so that we can come and be buying from your place, from the market near you. But this I'm talking about now. I'm talking about not even in the heart of Abuja. We're talking about Karimo Market. And that every Tuesday is a busy market day where you get things cheap. And she got there today and she could not get 1,000 naira pepper. And somebody will say Tinubu is working. Somebody will say Tinubu is working. Working how? The 4 things that Nigeria needs to develop, Tinubu is shying away from all 4 of them. Things that would take us from consumption to production. He's shying away from them. And every time Peter Obi speaks, you hear those 4 things in his speech. And that is why they don't want him to be president. And that's why it will be difficult for us to gang up if we don't identify these 4 things, so we can use it as a criteria to know who is for us and who is against us. What are these 4 things? Homegrown agricultural solution. We need to be productive in agriculture. I'm not going to go into statistics like Peter Obi, but in summary, what it says is the truth. Homegrown agricultural production. And that is what we have weaved in to the Well Fund program that we'll talk about later. Number 1, homegrown agricultural solutions. Number 2, industrialization, homegrown. If we cannot get homegrown, we go and get technology transfer. If we don't have an active steel industry where we make our own steel here in Nigeria, we are still slaves. So any serious government will make steel production number 1 priority. Japan, that does not have a single iron ore, is a world leader in steel production. There is no country that is truly independent that does not have an active steel industry. But Tinubu is not looking at that. Homegrown agriculture, 0. Steel production, 0. We're not talking about steel where the same Onyibo will come and set up factory here and give us the ingots, and then we'll now use the ingots to stretch into things, and then we say we are producing. No. No. Our own. We must make the base material here. software technology. Software. Everything we do, from AI to anything, we are dependent. If they shut us out from their software, from their applications, we are doomed. Shut us off from YouTube, we are doomed. TikTok, we are doomed. Just name it. Every country in the world, the government takes active steps. It's a policy. And that is why sometimes when they say they go to NIPS, National Institute of Policy and Strategic Studies, NIPS, and they come out and they call them distinguished. I wonder, what is distinguished about you when simple policy to make sure that Nigeria is truly independent? The whole of you bunch in that place. You're not thinking and talking and acting on it. You're not. Because if you were, we will see it from our homegrown agricultural solution, homegrown steel manufacturing production. Yes? We'll see it from software. America already did ChatGPT. America already did Bing AI. America already did all manner. But China still went to do their DeepSeek. Still went to do their Kong or whatever it is. They still went to do it. But we will just sit down. We have leaders that are not even thinking on behalf of the people to say, okay, fine. If they have their own AI, how can we have our own AI? India is having their own AI, government-backed. The same thing with Russia. Every country that wants to be truly independent, they are doing it. But our leaders are not thinking in that direction. All we know is to spend the money that we don't have to go and buy their technology. We are slaves. And then the last one, semiconductor technology. Semiconductor technology. That one is the most painful one. I studied electronic and electrical engineering. Solid state technology. Solid state. We're supposed to be designing integrated circuits. But I never saw one device that makes semiconductors till I graduated. Everything was paper, paper, paper. Whether what they were teaching us was true or false, so there's no way to know. Semiconductor. Meanwhile, you can have an ASMR machine, a semiconductor fabrication machine for as much as $300 million. If Dangote alone decided he could, the way Jack Ma would do with his China, they will come and build their own AI. If Dangote decides like Elon Musk and decides and said, how can a whole Nigeria not have a semiconductor fabrication technology? Let me buy, how many are these things? $300 million for each of the 6 geopolitical zones. Oh yeah, take 3 times 6, that's $1.8 billion. What will it take from him? Nothing. But it will revolutionize the economy of Nigeria. So why is he not doing it? Why? He doesn't want to offend his owners. If you don't know, for me, I consider Dangote a Trojan horse. They package Dangote to us on the outside. In the inside, you have Bill Gates in there working for the interests of the people to make sure that they use Dangote to keep us enslaved. Don't come and tell me that he did refinery, that is a good thing. Don't come and tell me that. You people know where I stand on that. Yes, Nigeria is producing, but to the benefit of who? Do you know that right now, Nigeria buys fuel more expensive than in America? The other day, just last week, Donald Trump was bragging that fuel is now $1.50 for a gallon. Many of you don't know that in 1 gallon, there are about 4 liters. That means 1 liter of fuel in America is now less than 50 cents. Less than 50 cents. Meanwhile, convert our own is greater than 50 cents. So we in Nigeria, with Dangote that has a 650,000 barrels per day capacity, from which we are supposed to be enjoying economies of scale. Economies of scale, which means that the bigger your refining capacity, the cheaper the cost of production of your fuel. In fact, the newer your refinery, the cheaper the cost of production. That's how it is everywhere. So if Dangote has a 650,000 barrels per day capacity, refining capacity, and a new one, the efficiency should be higher, so the cost should be cheaper. So we should be buying fuel cheaper than America. But no, We have a Dangote that is packaged to us inside a Trojan horse, that you have people like Bill Gates that we are giving awards, celebrating our oppressors. And all they are doing is making sure that we remain slaves to them. We need to understand who are the we. Who are the we? Until we do that, we cannot move forward. For me, this is the ultimate test. Are you in support of electoral reform? If yes, you are part of us. If no, you are against us. Simple and end of discussion. But mind you, whether or not you guys pass the Electoral Act, we have 6 other steps, action steps, that make up the 7 action steps of Project Eagle. Those ones do not depend on you. We will not give up, no matter how difficult and challenging the task may be. We will not give up. We will make sure that we take back this country come 2027. Yes, by the special grace of God.